Oh, hello there. Yes, well, it's cold and wet, isn't it? What's going on in July, eh? Yes, thank God that climate change isn't real. Anyway, at the weekend we had, as well as the sort of all the nail-biting excitement of the French elections, we had all the nail-biting excitement of the British media in full, not really analytical mode. When I was growing up, those kind of Sunday politics programmes were really well worth watching because the politicians on them were given a very hard time. They weren't just allowed to just punt out any old stuff for the masses, which is very much what it feels like now. There is so much that is not being said, as ever, in the British media, and it's not going to change with the outgoing Conservative government. I mean, the thing to remember about right-wing parties, the extreme right-wing parties, be they in the UK, and I count the right-wing of the Conservative Party and Reform in that, is that they are very much tied into an international view. One of the reasons why Farage is such good mates with people like Steve Bannon is because these people fly around the world talking to each other about what works. Okay, the whole populism shtick is all about wealth extraction. Yes, I know it's a kind of Marxist concept, but some of us have to say that, okay? So whatever might work in place A will be transferred to place B, and it doesn't really matter if it is or isn't a different country. Think about Crosby, the Australian, in terms of the way that he's been directing the Conservatives and their variety of campaigns. Sometimes it works when you get Boris Johnson, and sometimes it doesn't when you don't get to become Lord Mayor of London. But generally speaking, they fly around the world, talk to each other, and decide about what they're going to do next. And you have to think about the upcoming Conservative leadership election through that prism. So at the weekend, we had a number of print articles and various people being interviewed. And I just want to sort of highlight a couple of them. The first up, there was Robert Jenrick in The Times. We lost because we got Brexit done, but nothing else. The Conservative MP says his party's failure on migration drove millions to reform, but that's not the whole story. No, it isn't indeed, because of course Robert Jenrick is the kind of chosen one in terms of that quiet American evangelical, if I can put it as delicately as that, money. Now, he represents a kind of acceptable face of extreme how can I put it? Extreme Christian-based worldview, should we say? And it's always that very, very particular kind of Republican evangelical worldview, whereby Israel's a great mate because the Battle of Armageddon's coming, and we can't have abortion, and we can't have gay people, and we can't have poor people either. They are all effectively fairly disposable. And whilst we might be a smiling person in a suit, we still hold those views, even if we're not very loud about it. That's your Robert Jenrick. But yes, we lost because we got Brexit done, but nothing else. No, it was a lot further than that, mate. Getting Brexit done might well have been seen as a high watermark for you, but it wasn't for the rest of us. So moving on, inevitably we had Suella Braverman, who also cropped up on, as well as an interview in the Telegraph, cropped up on GB News, where she was given, Camilla gave her the world's softest interview. But I love this, right? We deserved this result. We had 14 years in office and did not deliver. Yes, which I think is a brilliant way of putting it, because let's imagine, right, that you invite me to your birthday party, okay? And I say, well, I'll bring a cake, okay? And I show up on the doorstep and I don't have a cake. Well, that's me failing to deliver. However, if I show up to your birthday party without the cake and then proceed with a hammer to smash your light fittings, make your car unusable, and smash your loo so you get sewage splashed all over your bathroom floor, that's something more than failing to deliver, isn't it? And I think that's a far more apt metaphor, realistically, Suellan. Yes, so she said, complacent Tory MPs must see the only way to persuade the public is with trust, hope and credibility, which are all the things you don't have, Suella, aren't they? Yeah? This is a woman this weekend who, when push came to shove in terms of her interview on GB News, refused to say that she wouldn't join Reform. So, she's quite happy to get a stonking majority from all those people that vote for her, and then just turn around to them maybe in a few weeks' time and say, well, actually, no, I'm not going to bother with any of that stuff that I stood on. Yeah, I'm going to join Lee Anderson and just jump to a different party because I don't have to care. Yeah, because I can treat you with that level of contempt. Not really trust, hope or credibility at all, but hey, it's Suella. Again, from that wing of the party. It's just that she's actually not as sensible as Robert and was prepared to shout about it. But I also had to smile at this discussion, okay. GB News. Anyway, yeah. I love this, right, okay? We have a number of other candidates like Kemi Badenoch and Priti Patel who are probably more likely to be able to appeal to people outside the Tory party than Suella, who people might perceive as hard on the right. Yeah, Kemi Badenoch and Priti Patel, yeah. They're definitely going to be really popular characters. I mean, I bump into people all the time that go, oh, if only the Tories had a reasonable human being like Priti Patel up, I'd probably vote for them. Yes, I wonder how many people have ever said that in their life, eh? Well, I don't know, that might actually acquire an extra 2 votes per constituency if you're really lucky. Farcical nonsense, patently. And, think about this in terms of the credibility or trust issues, yeah? Priti Patel, a woman who has yet to properly explain exactly what was going on in terms of her little holiday jaunt to Israel, which led to her initial sacking. Yeah. These people aren't trustworthy, which is the reason why there are so few Conservative MPs now. And yet we're still in this fantasy world whereby magically, if we just change something slightly or smile more or I don't know, maybe get another brown person in to talk on our behalf or magic up a 19-year-old to say that they're going to vote for us, that magically we can just ignore everything that's gone on. Yeah? All of that smashed footings in the house we can just ignore because, it's the future. I don't really think that it is. Anyway, yes, it's going to be a very quiet week for me this week. I do want to concentrate on some of the stuff that's coming in from abroad, so those are going to be the next series of videos. Please do stay tuned. Various people seem to be looking at what I'm doing. I'm dangerously close to 200 people following me, and some of them actually leave brilliant comments like, you smell, which of course I do, but luckily I'm this side of the camera, so you can't tell. Anyway, do have a lovely Monday, won't you? And stay dry. Basically, that's my tip.